So, this will be the quarter-final of the Milton Keynes Premier Challenge, and I'm going to be going against Sheldon, who was my third-round opponent. So, we do have information on each other's teams. I do know that he is a Choice Scarf Landorus, which can be very annoying. And I do know that he is a max speed Mega Gengar, so that could be a bit awkward, because that speed ties with my Gengar. But I did call the Groudon lead this time. I did expect him to lead with it. So I do lead with my Rayquaza and Kyogre, which catches it very nicely, because the Groudon, if I'd just led with my Kyogre, his Groudon could have been slower, because I didn't see it at all in the Swiss round. So he could have got up his Sun if he was slow, and I'm a reasonably fast Kyogre. But he does Prime Revert first, so that does strongly imply that he's max speed, because if you're faster than my Kyogre, there's not really much reason to not be max speed. So I can play it fairly safe here, because a double target onto my Kyogre shouldn't knock it out. So I can just protect my Rayquaza from any potential Icy Winds or Will-O-Wisps from the Mega Gengar, and I can Origin Pulse to knock out the Groudon and chunk the Gengar and put it in Bullet Punch range from my Scizor. But he reads the Protect on the Rayquaza very nicely, goes for Sludge Bomb onto my Kyogre, which does a reasonable amount and gets the poison, but that's out of range of any attack the Groudon can do, right? Right? Didn't expect Thunder Punch, but it's always nice when you have good EVs on your Pokemon. So I am able to survive the Thunder Punch and the Sludge Bomb, and connect with both Origin Pulses, knock out the Groudon, and easily put the Gengar in Bullet Punch range. So I can actually see my path to victory already. The poison was annoying, knocking out my Groudon, but that does give me the free switch into my own Gengar, and I know that I have my Scizor in the back that can Bullet Punch the Gengar whenever I want to. So he's going to bring out his own Rayquaza, so this is going to be a funny position on the field where he has a Gengar and Rayquaza, and I also have a Gengar and Rayquaza. But I can just protect my Gengar here because I have seen his Shadow Ball. He does know that I'm not Sash Gengar, so he can just Shadow Ball my Gengar. So I'm going to protect it, but I'm comfortable if he double attacks Rayquaza, because that gives me a free switch into the Scizor. So basically my plan is to break any potential Sash on that Rayquaza with an Extreme Speed. He wins the Speed turn, Extreme Speed's me first to break a Sash. But I Extreme Speed him back, and then put him in range of an Icy Wind from my own Gengar, because I know he can't Mega Evolve, and he reveals the Hidden Power Ice on his Gengar. So that's good and bad, because this gives me the free switch into Scizor, so now I can just Bullet Punch the Gengar and Icy Winds knock out the Rayquaza, so that actually put me in a very good position. So he's called my Protect twice, but it's actually gone in my favour, because now I do just Bullet Punch and Icy Wind. He protects his Gengar, which was the correct play, but he is going to lose a Pokemon here, because Icy Wind does connect with his Rayquaza, no strong winds to prevent him from being knocked out, so I do KO the Rayquaza, KO both his restricted Pokemon now. So he's going to bring in his Gastrodon as the last Pokemon, but that will go down to a combination of Gengar and Scizor. He has protected, he could have gone for the double protect, but he doesn't, and Bullet Punch knocks out the Gengar. And now I can knock out this Gastrodon with the combination of the Shadow Ball and the Superpower. So I'm going to Shadow Ball onto the Gastrodon, and I believe he doesn't Earth Power me. No, he Scalds my Scizor, okay. So that would have probably made more sense if he would have gone for the double protect, but he didn't, so that's guaranteed win for me, because now a combination of Shadow Ball and Superpower will knock out this Gastrodon, because I did see it did about 60 to 70% Superpower on the Gastrodon in the Swiss round. So that was a nice game one, even though he called both my protects for 2 turns, but that did put me in a winning position, so I'll take that. So that was game 1, and this is game 2. So he's going to change up his leads here. I don't expect him to lead Groudon this time, so I'm going to leave my Kyogre in the back, because he's seen that my Kyogre can survive the double target. He's going to switch up to Togekiss and Rayquaza, which I think is quite a good adjustment on his part. But I do threaten with the Sludge Bomb onto the Togekiss, the Icy Wind onto the Rayquaza. So I'm not actually going to Mega Evolve my Rayquaza here, because I don't want him to have strong winds, so my Icy Wind is weaker. So if I keep my Rayquaza as normal Rayquaza, then I keep the Airlock. But I'm also actually not going to Mega Evolve my Gengar. So I'm trying to think of why I didn't. I probably wanted the Mega Rayquaza at some point, but I don't Mega Evolve my Gengar. I think probably because of the potential Groudon and the Gastrodon in the back, so I can keep Levitate. But I do reduce damage, I don't lock him in with the Shadow Tag, but I do call his Protect on his Rayquaza very nicely with his Tailwind, and I get a free Swords Dance, even though he does get his Tailwind up, so he does outspeed me with his Rayquaza, but not with his Togekiss, because I've got the Icy Wind on it. Now I can Extreme Speed and break any potential Sash on the Rayquaza, and because I still didn't Mega Evolve, I can Icy Wind for the knockout onto it. So he's going to Dragon Descent, onto my Rayquaza, and it's not going to bring me down to the Sash, which is very nice, because I don't reveal that. Yeah, I don't think I revealed my Focus Sash on Rayquaza at all. So I can just go for another Icy Wind, still no Mega Evolution, which is quite interesting from my part. I guess I still wanted to, because I was going to KO the Rayquaza this turn, I wanted to be able to dodge any Precious Blades or Earth Powers from the Gastrodon. But his Togekiss is going to reveal the Dazzling Gleam, and that's not so good. Air Slash onto Rayquaza would have pretty much done the same thing, but Dazzling Gleam lets him chip my Gengar as well, which isn't the best, but he does knock out my Rayquaza, which is the key thing, because I had a Swords Dance Rayquaza, and you never want to just lose that. So I'm going to bring in my Kyogre here, hoping for his Groudon, but I find a Gastrodon instead. So that's not so good for me, and I do expect his Groudon to be in the back. So I do want to switch straight back out with my Kyogre. So because I haven't trapped him in yet with my Shadow Tag, then I know he can switch into the Groudon, so I do want to make sure that I'll win the Weather War. So I'm going to switch out into my Sizzle, which is pretty safe, because if he's got Dazzling Gleam, he can Air Slash my Sizzle for a reasonable amount, and if he scalds my Sizzle, then it's no longer in the range, so it won't do as much, and I'm pretty comfortable with the switch. But again, I don't Mega Evolve my Gengar, and I miss the knockout on his Togekiss, and that's really bad. If I'd have Mega Evolved, I would have definitely knocked him out. I'm just so used to running a Focus Sash Gengar, and that has max special attack, but this one has no special attack. I've got pretty much all of it into defense and speed. So that cost me. He does end up scolding my Gengar, so I could have Mega Evolved. Now at this point, there's no point preserving the Levitate. I might as well get the extra power. Now here, I think I predict him to switch out into his Groudon, because he hasn't switched out with his... because I haven't got the Shadow Tag yet, he still can switch. But I'm going to double onto the Gastrodon. He's faster than my Sizzle in Tailwind, and knocks out my Sizzle, because I forget that I'm a very, very slow Sizzle. Because I'm a brave one, so that's not so good. I think I did forget about the Tailwind there as well, so I haven't lost the Weather War, and pretty much lost this match now. So if I'd have Mega Evolved the Gengar, I would have knocked out the Togekiss, won the Weather War, and I'm pretty sure I would have won, because I would have been able to just protect the Kyogre, Icy Wind, and then proceed to Water Spout, Origin Pulse, whatever, and then double onto the Gastrodon in the end game. But now he can follow me away the Ice Beam, and that's going to knock out the Togekiss. I think I was Ice Beaming the Gastrodon there. And do I go for a Shadow Ball? I've already moved with my Gengar, haven't I? So, oh yeah, I protected it. That makes sense. But now he brings in his Groudon. He can just Precipice Blades for the knockout, and I will lose. So, not so good. He can also just quite safely Thunder Punch my Kyogre twice and Earth Power my Gengar. That's also a knockout, and that doesn't risk the Precipice Blades miss. So I'm kind of hoping for him to go for the Precipice Blades and double miss, because that's pretty much my only way out now. But I am going to go for the Shadow Ball onto the Groudon, potentially get a special defense drop, and then put it in Ice Beam range, and then maybe I can 1v1. But he does go for the correct play of Thunder Punch and Earth Power, because that's 100% accurate and will knock out both my Pokemon. He did risk the special defense drop with his Groudon, but no, that was the right play. Earth Power is going to knock out my Gengar. And now he can just Thunder Punch my Kyogre again for the knockout, because he's shown he's already faster. I'm not expecting a speed tie here, because I am running a very unique speed on my Kyogre. But Thunder Punch is going to knock out my Kyogre, and now we need to go into the game 3. Wasn't that just the smoothest cut in the world? So, I think this is the case of anything you can do, I can do better, because I'm going to lead off with my Rayquaza and Togetic into his Rayquaza and Togekiss. So this is quite an interesting position, because we can both follow me away the Dragon's Ascents from the Rayquazas. We can both potentially match Tailwinds, we can both potentially Swords Dance. So he's going to Mega Evolve his Rayquaza, and I'm not going to Mega Evolve my Rayquaza, because I had my Gengar in the back, and I still wanted the Mega Gengar. Because I'm pretty sure I double target the Rayquaza this turn. He does follow me, so he doesn't Tailwind. Because I was comfortable with him getting up the Tailwind, because I was going to be slower, because I didn't Mega Evolve. Which is why I just straight up attacked. Dragon's Ascent is going to do a lot to this Togekiss, because of the critical hit. It would have activated his Citrus Berry anyway, but that would have left him on about 70-ish%, I want to say. Yeah, without the crit he would have been on about 70%, so he would have probably survived another Dragon's Ascent from me. He is going to go for the Swords Dance himself, but I do go for the Dazzling Gleam, which is very nice because it breaks any potential Sash on the Rayquaza, which I still didn't get to see at all, and it does put the Togekiss in Dragon's Ascent range. It would have been in Dragon's Ascent range because of that Dazzling Gleam without the crit anyway, so it didn't really come into play because I went for the Dazzling Gleam, but we're both going to double follow me here, or both going to singularly follow me, because I don't think double following me is ever a good play. But Dragon's Ascent is going to knock out this Togetic. It's very bulky, but I did shift the EVs into mainly special defense, and my old Togetic had pretty much all the defense because it could survive a Mobile Iron Head. I haven't actually done the calc to see if I'd have survived a +2 Dragon's Ascent if I would have still been my original spread, but 2 Dragon's Ascents, both Toggers are gone from the field. But he is in a much better position because he's got a Mega Rayquaza with a Swords Dance, as opposed to my regular Rayquaza without a Swords Dance. But his Sash has been broken, and that's crucial. So here he's going to bring in his Groudon, I'm going to bring in my Gengar. So if I double protect here, then I get my speed boost with my Gengar, and I do outspeed his Rayquaza. Its Sash has been broken, and if I don't Mega Evolve my Rayquaza, which I can't do because I'm Mega Evolving my Gengar, then I've already seen that Icy Wind will be a knockout on his Rayquaza. So that's my plan here. The only way that could go wrong would have been another Swords Dance from his Rayquaza, but that wouldn't have made a difference because he can knock out everything anyway with the attacks that he's got. And a potential Swords Dance / substitute from his Groudon, but I have already seen Thunder Punch. I don't think I've seen Fire Punch or Precipice Blades yet, but I am suspecting that he doesn't have any kind of like substitute or anything. I would expect Fire Punch and Precipice Blades on the Thunder Punch set. He does reveal Fire Punch, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't have anything like that. So now, I'm going to call the Rayquaza Protect from the Icy Wind. I am going to go for the Icy Wind, because it was always the best play, because I got my Kyogre in the back, which could then outspeed his Groudon and knock it out with a Water Spout. But I am going to Swords Dance with my own Rayquaza, which is very, very big, because now it forces his Rayquaza to Extreme Speed mine. He is going to Precipice Blades, which does reveal his final move. It does connect with Gengar, and it is able to knock it out, but the Icy Wind onto the Groudon is nice, because now my Kyogre can come in and Water Spout. So he hasn't got the speed drop on his Rayquaza. He will be able to go first, but because I've got my Swords Dance up now, he is forced to Extreme Speed my Rayquaza, because I'm surely going to Extreme Speed his Rayquaza. Now, I could have done that, but the play I was fearing was an Extreme Speed onto my Kyogre, and it to crit as I go for Water Spout. And I could also cover that by going for Origin Pulse, but that could also miss. So I actually go for the play that is 100% accurate. He is going to Extreme Speed my Rayquaza. He was forced to. This play could have gone wrong if he had a Dragon's Ascented my Kyogre, but he had to Extreme Speed my Rayquaza. He was completely forced to, so I'm going to Dragon's Ascent his Groudon instead, because it is 100% accurate, because I've got the Swords Dance, and because I've seen that he's almost certainly max speed, he's not going to be running any bulk, and a Swords Dance Dragon's Ascent will knock him out. And that lets me go for the 100% accurate Ice Beam. So that does knock out both his Rayquaza and his Groudon, and I have just won this match, because everything on his side of the field will underspeed my Rayquaza. So that's very nice. It is going to be the Gastrodon, because that was the main... I was expecting the Gastrodon, so he is going to forfeit, because a Swords Dance Rayquaza would knock him out. So that was very nice. I did go for the 100% accurate play with the possibility of it going wrong if he read into that and Dragon's Ascended, but that would have probably been an impossible read to make, I think, because he had to Extreme Speed my Rayquaza, because I was definitely going to Extreme Speed his Rayquaza. So that worked out very nicely. And let me move on to the semi-final.